Police have opened a case of culpable homicide following a bus crash in which 5 people, including a 7-month-old baby, were killed on the R66 road between Eshowe and Melmoth in northern KwaZulu-Natal yesterday. More than 30 other people were injured. The bus was apparently carrying members of the 12 Apostles Church from Johannesburg to an event in Empangeni. Let's now cross live to our reporter Sibongakonke Mbatha, who is at the accident scene, and she has an update for us. Sibongakonke, what a sad morning. Do give us the details. We understand that the identity of those that were deceased in the accident have still not yet been identified. Tell us more.
Indeed, Alicia, a very sad morning. This morning when we came here to the scene, we found, of course, the officials already on scene to try and gather the debris off the road, because this is indeed a relatively active road, even though it's in between mountains. We found the MEC for Community Safety and Liaison, as well as Transport, MEC Mxolisi Kawunda, MEC for Kokta in the province, Manomusa Dube, as well as the Secretary General of the ANC, Mr. Eshowe, because we do understand he was on his way to attend the 12 Apostle Church's 40th celebration in Empangeni, and tragedy struck yesterday afternoon where 5 people lost their lives, including a young baby. 33 people were injured, 6 had to be airlifted. Amongst the 6 that had to be airlifted was the driver of the bus. And of course, 12 sustained minor injuries, while 15 had moderate injuries that were treated on scene, and some of them were, of course, treated further in hospital. When speaking to the MEC this morning, we of course had to inquire. We will recall, Alicia, that Ndundulu Mountains have become deadly terrain. We will recall other big accidents that have happened on this very road. We will recall in 2013 where the Reed Dance maidens were making their way from the Reed Dance to Shipston, and 11 of them lost their lives tragically on the very same road. So upon inquiring as to the matter of this road, the MEC did highlight that many stringent measures have been put to place over the years, more stop signs, and he did emphasize that more traffic signs are going to be put out, because this is indeed deadly terrain. But after this accident, there will be inspectors and engineers that will come and try as to look at the road in between these mountains and see perhaps if there can be a way to further strengthen the road security, because it seems like it continues to take more lives. And speaking to the Secretary General, he was indeed quite saddened by what happened, because he did express his condolences to the congregants and the families who've lost their members. Indeed, this turning into a very bitter moment. Meanwhile, in the beginning, it was supposed to be a joyous one, because as we speak, the congregation had to continue with their program. They're continuing in Empangeni, but now their program has to be slightly changed. They now have to be in sad moments. They are mourning the loss of their fellow congregants, but also celebrating their lives, because they come with them all the way from Soweto and Johannesburg, and then along the way, just before they make it to the congregation, they are struck by such tragedy. Alicia?
Sibongakonke, we understand that a case of culpable homicide has since been opened. Tell us more about the investigation.
The department did, of course, highlight that there is a case that has been opened and investigation is currently underway. What has been suspected to what might have caused the bus to overturn is high speed of the bus, but they are hoping to get more details from the driver once he is in a stable condition to be able to attest to what happened when he was along the route. There were skids along this route which were indicating that the bus might have been traveling at high speed, but of course, all of those details will be confirmed once the investigation has been completed. At this very moment, we have just come from the Department of Transport's RTI facilities, where the wreckage of the entire bus has been kept. It is very badly tarnished. More of its debris was along this road. As you can see behind me, it's currently being taken out of route so that it doesn't really cause any further traffic along the road. Alicia?
All right. And then Sibongakonke, back to the identity of those that have been deceased. How soon can we know once the loved ones have been, of course, alluded to the fact that their loved ones have perished in this accident?
Although the MEC could not confirm at this moment because they were, of course, rushing to the congregants at the Empangeni place where the entire church is expected to gather. Thousands of people are expected to gather there, but as soon as possible, it was guaranteed that all relatives and family members of the deceased will be notified. And unfortunately, some of them might actually be at the event already. It will be indeed a very somber and sad moment for them to find out in Empangeni that their loved ones who were coming to them did not make it. But it will be confirmed that on this day we will gather details as to they have been told or not. Alicia?
Sibongakonke, I can see, as you told us earlier on, that of course the authorities, the relevant authorities are on the scene. I can see they are clearing the debris. How has this affected normal traffic? As you said earlier on, this is rather a very busy road in between these mountains.
Yesterday afternoon, when the accident happened, traffic was at a standstill, if I can say the least. But over a period of time, when authorities came on scene and tried to get out the debris and salvage those who were injured, traffic flow was, of course, released. And when we came this morning, there wasn't really much traffic because from yesterday, the debris was already sort of pushed to the side. Today was only a matter of authorities coming to witness and inspect the scene and make sure that everything that needs to be taken out is taken out, which will include and help them in their investigation. But now it's just a removal of the debris and traffic is flowing as naturally as possible.
All right, and just once again, Sibongakonke, I mean, with the transport department in the area there, I know that you did speak to Mr. Kaunda there. I mean, is there any sense of they're going to now hastily try and get to the bottom of what really causes these crashes on this road in particular?
He did, of course, highlight that particular aspect, but of course, he did say he's considering that this particular road was engineered right in between mountains. It, of course, does create a challenge, but as far as he was speaking, it is not an impossible route to keep safe. They just have to do more investigations, bring in more engineers to find possible safety ways to make sure that accidents like these and the ones that have happened in the past are actually lessened and inevitably stopped completely, because now it carries a tagline, it carries an omen of being deadly terrain. And the MEC did highlight that they want to break that because it can no longer continue to take so many lives.
Absolutely. And Sibongakonke, the ones, let's say the people that should be using the road today, I mean, what should they be vigilant of? Should they be expecting more traffic delays? Is there still going to be authorities clearing the debris? What are the conditions that they need to ready themselves ahead of their journey, should they be using this road this morning?
Residents using the road this morning, as the MEC had strongly emphasized, should pay attention to road signs, especially when they pass by Ndundulu Mountains, because generally the general public, most of them who use this particular route, are aware that at no speed at this particular route, because there's caution in terms of at what kilometer can an ordinary vehicle travel in, at what kilometer can a truck, because mostly it's usually trucks that travel in this route, can travel in. So motorists can be extremely cautious, even though the debris is being cleared up and there's no particular traffic, but they can maintain cautiousness throughout this route until they reach a much clearer road where they can be certain that they can travel in an estimated time and in estimated kilometers. But congregants that were here did mention that perhaps when they were coming, they should have alerted traffic police that a number of congregants are making their way here, and knowing the history of this route, perhaps there could have been traffic cops along the route, but it's something that didn't really happen. It's something that wasn't really planned, and unfortunately, it had to result in such tragedy.
And then, Sibongakonke, I mean, the first we heard of this news yesterday, I mean, it was through eyewitness accounts of what had happened. Have you managed to speak to any of the witnesses and get their first-hand account of what it is that they actually saw?
We will be the in Empangeni, where we'll be able to speak to some of the congregants who might have been here when the incident happened and survived and were able to proceed to Empangeni. That's exactly what happened. But as far as we know, the bus overturned and then when tragedy struck and all those lives were lost. But we will get further details from the eyewitnesses who might possibly still be at Empangeni as we speak.
Sibongakonke, we're losing you there. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much. We know you've been driving there since early this morning to try and get us first-hand account of what is happening there. That is our reporter there, Sibongakonke Mbatha, right at the accident scene on the R66 road there in Melmoth. And of course, she was just giving us an update. She did speak to the Transport MEC, Mr. Kaunda, early this morning, as well as Mr. Esma Khashule, who've both had something to say about this tragic incident that took place out in Melmoth yesterday.